Hello everyone, Dr. Colleen and Dr. Mark here from Lifetime Wellness for live at shortly after 7:05. Had a brand new baby as a new patient this evening and ran a little bit late.
Evidence.
I was cleaning up my evidence. Okay, so first things first, as always, if you're watching us live on Facebook, please leave a comment, say hello so we know you're here. Please share this because anyone who eats food should know the information we're about to share. Also subscribe so you don't miss these videos that we do. And then if you're watching after the fact over on our YouTube page, YouTube/Lifetime Wellness, please subscribe over there as well so you get notifications when we
leave
post
a comment or a
new.
question or anything, we'll always reply to that.
Yep. And then our question for you this evening, comment below with your favorite healthy food. 1, 2, 3 foods. Just tell us what your favorite healthy foods are. I do this every week. I do a lot of quotations.
Candy corn is not.
Candy corn is not even a food, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so we're going to start by doing this. Look over here. And can you? Oh, it's backwards because we're doing a live. Okay, so read that.
So the question at the top is, are the foods you're eating making you sick?
Okay, I thought there was more to it than that.
Well, that was the impetus for this live.
Right, so as you know, we put together these little Wednesday night sessions based on common questions that we hear, questions we've received throughout the week, opportunities that are presented to us throughout the week in the practice and out. Well, this one stemmed from an event that mostly Dr. Mark was heading up over the weekend, just at a vendor event, and we had that poster on display, so several hundred people were walking back and forth by this poster, and I was there for a while as well, and it was just, it's interesting to see people's reaction to that.
It was funny.
You thought some of it was funny.
Just people they walk by, they read the question, you can see them looking at it, read it, and they're like, well, yeah. Like, it's a redundant kind of question, right? Are the foods that you're eating making you sick? And people were sort of just admitting it flat out and acknowledging it and just kept walking by without really wanting to ask about it or do anything about it. And it strikes you as a little bit funny just that, it's kind of obvious and they know it, yet they just ignore it. So
some yes, some no, because I also noticed that a lot of people walk by and were just confused. They weren't sure what that meant, or they'd say, well, yeah, I have food allergies. I'm like, well, okay, that's not the same thing that we're talking about. So it brought up some different reactions, which made us think, yes, we have talked about this here in a live at 7:05 video in the past, but this is such an important topic that obviously we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, because again, this is so common and so impactful on people's health, because it's not always the foods that you suspect or the foods that are sort of obvious problem foods.
I mean, most people, we talked about this today when we were getting ready for this, most people know, okay, if I'm eating fast food 29 times a week, probably my foods are making me sick. That's not even what we're talking about. We're talking about, are the healthy foods you're eating, the real foods, the whole foods, are those possibly making you sick or contributing or triggering some chronic illness and some other symptoms, body symptoms?
Yeah, so
I know you want to
most people know certain foods that are available are just not good for you, and they know it. They still choose to eat it. Those are your fast foods, your junk foods, donuts, soda pop. People know that that's not good for them, but they don't equate it to really damaging their health all the time. So they think they can get away with it, or they think that it's not that bad. What we're talking about tonight.
Hold on, I want to interject here. Just to be clear, we are not perfect. There are absolutely times that we know full well what we're putting in our mouth right now is not health enhancing. We call them taste toxins.
Yeah,
we're making a choice in that moment.
What we're talking about tonight is revisiting food sensitivity problems, which are different from food allergies. Food sensitivity is just a kind of a hypersensitive reaction to a variety of foods. It could be a small number, it could be a large number, but they're more silent. It's a delayed immune response, which makes it difficult to figure these out. And again, you can develop food sensitivities to what's generally considered healthy foods, like garlic, green beans, pineapple, chicken. You know, it can be a whole host of things that you really wouldn't suspect or blame for the symptoms or the health problems that you're having, like migraines, headaches, poor sleep, brain fog, weight loss resistance, digestive and gut issues, itchy skin or other skin disorders. Stuff that can also be attributed to a lot of other things, so sometimes foods aren't even in consideration.
And you heard the number of things he just mentioned there, which is just a snippet.
Yeah, small list.
And most people think if I had a food issue, I would feel it in my stomach, in my gut.
Right.
Not necessarily the case at all.
So food sensitivities being a delayed immune response, it's different than a food allergy, which is an acute response. You break out in hives, you have difficulty breathing right away when you eat something. These could be several hours later to days later. And so sometimes you're not going to look back, okay, I had green beans 2 days ago and now I have a migraine. Well, who's going to blame the green bean, number one? And you're not going to make that connection. You're going to think of something you had that day or the night before. So this is the power of a food sensitivity test, is to identify these offenders that are truly wrecking your health. And they do it via inflammation. If someone continues to eat, or every time that they eat a food that they've developed a sensitivity to, it triggers a massive systemic inflammatory response. And you know, in the beginning it might be more minor. Over time it could become a more chronic and more serious inflammatory reaction as symptoms start to develop. But that's the fact, is every time you consume that food, you're triggering inflammation, and we're talking about deep cellular inflammation. And the fact of the matter is, if you're inflamed, especially chronically inflamed, it's very difficult to feel good. It's almost impossible to lose weight. It's very difficult to heal if you're chronically inflamed.
Can't think clearly.
Yeah, inflammation's a big driver for all types of chronic illness, but also just not feeling good. And you know, think about it. Most people eat every day, multiple times a day. So there's numerous opportunities in a day and a week where they could be consuming foods that their immune system does not like and it reacts to. So the test is simple. It is a blood test. It's a simple finger prick. Literally takes 2 minutes to do the test. We send it to the lab. We get results back usually within a week or two. You know, I brought a sample report. It's going to be backwards on here, but I don't know if you can see that well with the light. But you know, we test about 100 different foods. It's a couple page report, so you get 2 pages with all the foods listed and reaction scores. And if someone scores, you know, pretty high on it, then that's going to be an elimination food for a time, not forever, but for a time. If someone scores lower, maybe it's, you know, instead of daily, maybe it's once a week. They can have that food, or maybe it's a shorter elimination period. But what's great about this test is that there's no more guesswork. You're not guessing, because you've tested and you've identified those offenders, which quite frankly surprise a lot of people when they see what comes back. They're like, holy cow. Sometimes it's a bummer. It's one of their favorite foods. Sometimes it's something that they had no idea, or it's something very healthy that they're like, garlic? Are you kidding me? Garlic? But now you know. And you know, we've seen people's lives change from just performing this test and changing their nutrition, their diet as a result of it, letting that inflammation calm down as the body heals. So just wanted to touch on that again, the importance of it, because it's very common. It's one of the more popular tests that we do, and one of the most common lab tests that we order, because there's so much bang for the buck. You eat every day, your kids eat every day. Foods can be the source of a lot of health problems, and this is one way to cut to the chase and figure out which ones are doing the damage.
Yeah, foods can also be the source of a lot of health, right? They can be the source of the problem or of the health itself. Dr. Mark mentioned something a minute ago, and that is if someone scores really high on some of these foods, then that might be a food that you are eliminating for a time. The reason it's for a time, one thing we need to back up and explain, is it's not that there's something necessarily inherently wrong with the food itself. Broccoli isn't the bad guy, garlic isn't the bad guy, the green bean isn't the bad guy. There's something right now in your system, generally in the gut permeability, that is, we'll just say overreacting for a reason. It might be a permeability issue, it might be an autoimmune issue, but there's an overreaction, an oversensitivity to specific foods. That's not normal. So you need to remove the trigger for a time, then we work on some gut healing protocols and things like that. And if everything is done properly and as planned and as indicated, you should be able to reintroduce that food, whether it's a few months down the road or maybe a bit longer, as you give your system time to heal.
Retest to see the reaction.
And that's what we have going on right now, because the lab just reduced their fee last month, so now we finally have the opportunity where a lot of people are coming back in to finally get retested, so they know, okay, I've been doing this protocol and improving my health for the last however many months or years. I want to retest and see where I am, see if I'm still reacting to these foods or where I've improved. And that's
so the lab upgraded their technology, and instead of a manual operation, it's more automated. So they reduced the price of the food sensitivity test to $100. So that's just been passed on to the customers. So good time to
and the last thing, we have kind of a short list of, not a short list, we have kind of our go-to list. When someone comes in and they've had just chronic problems for a long time, they've been through all sorts of testing and nothing's getting better, they've tried so many different things and nothing's getting better, we kind of have a checklist that we go through, and it might be looking at what medications they're on, they've had any recent vaccinations or things like that, what's the health of their gut, what's their
oral health.
Oral health. So we kind of have our go-to list. Well, this is one of them as well. Are you sensitive to something you're putting in your body every day or multiple times a week? Because that would make sense to remove that trigger to lighten the burden on your body. So this is on our go-to list just because it makes that much sense. It's such an easy test to do and can be so profound.
And a lot of people already suspect it. They come in already saying, it's something I know, because they've just been dealing with it for a long time, and then they know their body better than most. So it's a lot of people just suspect it, and so it's a good test. It's a valuable test. It's well worth it.
Yeah, and we were almost always asked what age groups. How young can you do this test?
We've tested 3 and 4 year olds all the way up to senior citizens. So it's an easy test to perform.
As soon as someone's eating food, they qualify for this test.
Yeah.
Really, that's not a joke. As soon as you're eating foods, you may start having reactions to them.
Yeah.
So.
And so to add on to that, I would say, especially if someone is challenged, they have some health issues that just not resolving or have become more chronic or repetitive. This is a great first step test, because it gets to the heart of a big part of our lives is food. And so if you're not getting better, you're struggling to get healthy or to lose weight or things like that, this is a great first step to let's cut out these inflammatory foods that are that your immune system's reacting to. I mean, so much can get better from just that one step alone.
Yeah. So the way we do this, we already talked about how the lab cut their fees, which
we just passed along.
We passed along, and we already have added a lot to the lab fee, where we sit down with you when you come in to have the test done and just go through a metabolic assessment, a neurotoxicity assessment, just seeing where your health is, because there actually are times where we might go in a different direction on that day, which is another story. We're just very thorough about what we do even before we test.
It's really a whole package. It's not just, we draw your blood and send it in. It's a master food list. It's digging deep into your health and your history, and so it's a lot more than just running a test. So it's a whole package, and there's a follow-up visit, and you get a report and all that kind of stuff. So it's more than just the test.
I do want to say that on the follow-up visit, we've already talked about some of the results are more extreme, some are more mild. That's where this guy right here excels in walking you through, how do you apply this? What does this actually mean? And some people just want the results and go about it on their own, which is totally fine as well. Some people are like, okay, how do I actually do this? I'm a mom and I have to cook for everyone else. How do I do this for me? Or I'm in a large family, or I have a roommate, or how do I make this real in my life? Or
there might still need to be some healing or fixing. Yeah, so that's
that's where the consulting part of it is extremely beneficial as well. But whether you want to work on your own or with someone to walk you through it, the test in and of itself is it's kind of a no-brainer to us.
And if you're not close, we can ship it to you. You can self-administer this test at home. Everything's included, even a return envelope. So it's one that we can send you if you're interested, and we can even do a Skype or FaceTime as far as going over the results.
Yep.
So very easy to administer and deliver.
Yep. So
Cool.
if you would like more information, you can comment below, or you can contact us at the office, and we can walk you through the process of getting scheduled or shipping the test out to you.
Cool.
And that's it for now. We'll see you
Rock
next
on.
week.